If you're not focusing on this one tiny little part of the rowing stroke, you could be missing out on tons of free speed, especially over the course of a workout. Let's get into what this incredibly important phase of the stroke is and why you need to be focusing on it and how easy it is to implement. If this is your first time here, welcome. I'm Shane Farmer and this is Dark Horse, where you build the life that you want to live, and we just happen to use rowing to help you get there. Focusing on the entirety of the rowing stroke and even sequences of the rowing stroke, trying to break it into maybe 4 parts, is very common, especially among us rowing YouTubers. All 3 of us that are out there. And we kind of get lost at times in trying to coach the rowing stroke in its entirety, instead of breaking it down into some of the extremely important, very small things that you can do to get easy wins in the stroke. And today, we're going to cover what this very, very small adjustment can do for you and why you should be thinking about it and how you can implement it. So what is this tiny little, it's like less than, it's just that, it's more of a moment in time really than it is a distance than anything. What am I talking about? Well, it is your timing at the catch. What does that mean? Let's take a step back. The catch is the front of the stroke. It's the moment where you catch the tension on the handle and then you go and just put explosive power into your stroke. That's the catch. Now, the catch is extremely important. I've spent time in past videos talking about organizing the catch, putting your body in the right position. But even more minuscule than that is timing at the catch. And that is what we're talking about. It's maybe a quarter of an inch. It's simply the timing that you turn around at the front end. What does that do for you? This moment in time is incredible because it is the moment where you are sliding forward and this freewheel cog that is inside of, well, maybe it's a freewheel cog depending on the rowing machine that you're using. But this moment is where inherently you've just drawn the thing that creates resistance, whether it's a, fan blade in a tank of water or a vertical fan blade, like Concept 2, maybe it's electromagnetic resistance, whatever it may be. You've just created that resistance. So you got work done. Now you're sliding forward. You've disengaged from the thing because you generally have some kind of freewheel element, meaning you can't do work as I slide back up the stroke. And so this moment in time is your one opportunity every single stroke to connect and create tension on the handle. And that tension early is free speed. Have you ever taken a stroke and noticed the handle move from point A to point B? Not the entirety of the drive. It maybe moves 4 inches with no tension, and then all of a sudden, boom, you get this feeling of tension on the handle, and then you feel like that's when the work happens. Well, that's called missing the catch. And you're missing the catch because you are moving, but no work is actually happening when it relates to the monitor because you haven't timed the catch properly. And that is what we're gonna fix. And so if you can inherently change that, if you can fix your timing at the catch, well, you've now given yourself 5, 6, 7 extra inches of length onto the stroke, and that's effective length. I love saying this, but it's true. Length is only good if it's good length. And I mean that in the rowing context because what we're talking about is you can get the stroke long, you can reach forward and you can lay back at the back end, but none of it means anything if you're not actually effectively applying work to the handle. At the end of the day, it's apply work to the handle. That tells the machine that you're doing stuff. Let's optimize that and make sure that you are getting every single effective inch out of the stroke. Let's go to the machine. Okay, make sure that you're on your machine for this next part because I'm actually gonna take you through how you can work on this and how you can practice it. And there are a couple different ways that you can improve this catch timing very, very easily. Just some very basic drill work. This doesn't take hours and hours of workouts. Now, will it take workouts to help you integrate it? Yes. But does it mean that you're gonna have to do that now? No. That's why it's not an hours-long video. You're gonna strap into your machine. The first thing that we're going to focus on is the way in which you are setting yourself up for the catch and then just practicing repeatedly the turnaround time. Now, as I mentioned, it is simply the moment where you change direction as you slide forward, boom, that right there. Notice my body doesn't twitch, my arms don't twitch, it's coming from the legs. That's how you make it happen. So that's the what, right? I have to push through the legs. That's how I create that initial tension. So there are a couple different ways that we're going to do this. First, you're gonna practice just the catch timing over and over and over. To do that, you'll set up in the perfect essentially the catch. It's like the last final few inches of the recovery and the drive. And we call this the top quarter or the top half drill, depending on how far you're moving. Essentially, you're just practicing the first quarter of the stroke. Now, to be sure that you're in good position, what you want to make sure you do is have those hips behind the shoulders, trunk at a forward angle of 1 o'clock, 11 o'clock, depending on where you are. Knees tracking underneath the arms, back flat, not rounded. Also not super overextended like The Exorcist. You want to make sure that you're just nice and neutral. And then if you're new to rowing and you're just trying to get the basics down, keep the heels down. Eventually those heels can lift as you get better, but if you're new, work to keep those heels down so you understand how to push through the entire platform. This drill's very hard if you have your heels in the air. So grab that handle, lock in, lats engaged, brace through the midline, squeeze really tight like you're blowing up a balloon. That's the brace, and then all you're gonna do is just take repeated strokes. Just send it over and over and over. So from here, slide forward, push, push, push. Now you may notice that my drag factor is set pretty low. This is if you want to advance the workout. So the easier it is to work on this drill, the higher you want your damper setting, because it's a little bit more forgiving with high damper settings because the flywheel is so heavy and slows down so quickly that it's more forgiving. So if this is your first time, start damper setting high to practice this drill. And then as you get better, you can, this handle's a great multi-tool, by the way. You can keep that, you can bring that damper setting down. And you're just practicing the catch timing over and over and over. The more you can do this, the better you will get at understanding how do I push through the legs. And once you learn to do that, success is just infinitely in front of you. The sky is the limit. Okay, so from this drill, we're going to now move it into the next phase of the drill. It's kind of the same thing. And what you might notice if you're doing this with me, your back is gonna start to get real worked real quickly because all of those erector muscles that run on the sides of your spine and help you to keep your chest upright, they have to work like crazy to keep you in a good vertical spine or neutral vertical spine. Feel free to just sit there and like, okay, let your back relax for a moment. You don't have to kill yourself in this drill. The goal is to focus on how do I brace and push, push, push from the legs each time. The next advancement of the drill, now we're gonna take it to the back end. And all you're gonna do is slide forward, organizing the stroke. If you've spent time on my videos before, you understand that the recovery is arms push, hips close, then the knees bend. And fancy that, look, this is exactly where we were for the last drill. Now we're just adding in the forward slide, and now you get to practice organizing your body and then taking that moment of catch and then stopping. So what does the drill look like? Starting at the release, that back position, arms away, close the hips, slide, push, and then stop. That's it. You're just focusing on that single moment. Okay, so now we go back again, reset. Arms, hips, legs. And you might have noticed or seen me jump a little bit. Well, that's kind of good. You want to achieve that. You want to understand how do I drive through my legs so that it almost elevates my weight off the seat. Not so far that I jump off the seat or have to readjust, but enough that I get light. I get light in my butt. Light in my butt. So we reset, and this is what we do each time. We just reset after we've accomplished the goal of the drill. Okay, one back. Arms, body, legs, slowly go. And now one of the hardest things to learn, and this is where this drill comes in handy in particular, is how do I keep the legs slow, relaxed, boom, and then fire? How do I go from relaxed to firing? It's like a light switch. How do I turn a light switch off and then flick it on really quick? That's what you're trying to engage and learn with this drill. These two things combined are going to give you an amazing opportunity to practice catch timing, and what you will find once you take these two drills and start to implement them into your regular rowing, if you've been missing 6 inches of the drive, woo, wee, you're gonna look at your splits and all of a sudden they're just gonna crash being a good thing. They're gonna drop. You're gonna go so much faster because now you're adding 6 inches of effective length to the stroke, and that goes so far in helping your performance, helping you get more calories out of every stroke, helping you have more effective workouts, and you enjoy them because you start uncomplicating the stroke, and now it's fun because you enjoy it and you understand the process. Now, if you've got something out of this, this is not the end. You need to make sure that you are focusing on the greater parts of the stroke, but those nuances can be incredibly impactful, especially early on. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, the bell next to it, so you get alerted when we come out with new videos. And if you're looking for more on the technique side, check out our technique videos right here. There are more than enough for you to go through, and you're gonna have a great time as you learn the stroke.